So the 5 a.m. club is something that you hear a lot of entrepreneurs and successful business people engaging in. It's something that I started engaging about 4 or 5 years ago now. And don't get me wrong, it's tough. And it's definitely something that you've got to work at and get better at and, get used to. Just like anything, you've got to create a habit. But once you do and you start to see the benefits that it gives you, it's, worth doing every single day. So I just want to kind of put this document together. I just want to run through why you should do it and why you should at least give it 30 days. What is 30 days of doing it? Just give it 30 days and see how you can get on. So if you were to do it for 30 days, you'll become a new person. You'll have a new sense of clarity and purpose for your life. You'll definitely be more confident. You'll have better health because you'll be getting better sleep. And you'll show up more powerful in all your relationships with your kids, your family, your wife, your partner, whoever it might be, your husband. You'll show up more powerful. And this is all scientifically proven. It's not just something that someone came up with and then, it had no impact, but everyone kind of thinks it does. This stuff works, but you've got to be able to commit to it. So how do you do it is probably one of the biggest things, because it's not easy. If it was easy, everyone would do it. And it's not easy. It's tough. The alarm goes off at 5. You don't feel like you've been in bed that long. You're so used to having a lot longer sleep, waking up at 7:30, 8 o'clock, scratching your eyeballs, drinking coffee to get you going. So it's important that you understand how to do it, because it's not just a simple case of setting an alarm. First thing is you've got to go to bed sooner. If you don't, I go to bed about 10:30, and that allows me just enough time to get, 6.5 to 7 hours in, and that's enough. And then I can wake up. And, you cannot be doing this going to bed at 12, 1 a.m. and then getting up at 5. You'll just burn out. You'll not have enough sleep. So in order to go to bed sooner, you've got to avoid your addictions on the night. So these can boil down to things like, sugars and phone, highlight, bright light sort of stuff. Apps, phone activity. You really want to be putting them down as much as you can post probably 7 o'clock, and, trying to just start relaxing, going in that relaxed phase, and then getting ready for bed. Because if not, it's proven that being on your phone, being on iPads, being on tablets, it heightens your awareness. It heightens, you're getting these dopamine fixes, and it makes you more alert. So you've got to make sure that you put your phones away. The first few nights, you might have a hard time falling asleep, especially if you're used to going to bed later and then you're trying to go to bed, sort of 10. And therefore, the first few 5 o'clockers are going to be quite painful, and you're going to start to feel exhausted throughout the day. But it's just something that you've got to commit to. And over time, it'll lead to better, earlier sleep, because you'll start hitting the bed the minute your head hits the pillow at 10 o'clock, boom, you'll be out like a light, and you'll not wake up till 5. So you're just getting much better sleep. So you kind of just got to work through that. It is a problem that you're going to have to work through, but it doesn't last that long. 2 or 3 nights of that, and then you'll be into it. Once you wake up, you need to know what you're doing. You cannot just set your alarm and then have nothing to do and know what you're going to do, because you'll just go back to bed. You've got to have an action plan. And this is probably the fundamental key of it all. And you've got to plan that out the night before and make sure that you know exactly what you're going to do when you wake up. So make it easy on yourself. Just have a few tasks, 2 or 3 tasks. For me, I tend to educate myself for an hour. I write down my daily commitments. I then educate myself for an hour. And then I will dive into a few of the core team tasks. So I'll start pinging Slack messages to the team and just tell them pretty much what I want them to get on with for that day. And then I feel like I've had a really good, productive morning. When you make it easy on yourself, because if you don't do that, you don't want to set 10 tasks. You don't want to try and rattle through loads of stuff. You just want to be, very calm and get through the content. But you're so much more focused, so you can get through a lot of stuff. There's no distractions. Your phone's not going off. The world's asleep. No one's around you. So, you can really get after it. And that's what's really important for me, is just that the fact that nobody can really bother you. No one else is awake. It's a very, very, very peaceful time in the morning. When you get out of bed, turn your alarm off and start hydrating. Again, this is another key thing. I always go to sleep with a bottle of water next to me. It's the first thing I do is turn my alarm off and then straight into the water, drinking, and do not get back into bed or go and sit on a couch because you'll fall asleep. Okay, that is one of the biggest things that I've come to accustomed with, and I'll just sit on the couch and do a bit of work, and then you just tip to one side and all of a sudden you're asleep, and then the missus is waking you up. Oh, you gotta go. So don't find a comfortable position, especially for the first probably 20 minutes of getting out of bed. Get into a new environment. I personally like my kitchen where I'm sat right now. We have a kitchen island and sort of high-raised chairs, so there's no comfiness. Yes, it's comfy, but it's not sleep comfy. Gets me alert, keeps me upright. I've got to, hold myself up. So I like to get into this new environment, put the lights on, and just be, alert and ready to go. And you got to be active and not passive about waking up. No snooze alarms. Don't even give your phone the option of doing that. Get up, be active. Start moving. Don't be sluggish. Get up and be active and start moving. And within about 5-10 minutes of waking up, you start to feel really, really good. You start to crack on with your tasks that you laid out the night before, and it really. Your idea is to do something meaningful throughout that morning routine. So you start to really, generate confidence, and, you get going and you start really, really feeling good about yourself. So, now if you do that, so that's kind of how you do it. That's how you get yourself up and the things you need to do to make sure that you can be consistent with it. But what will start happening, which is the fundamental part, because there's no point doing it all if it's not going to have a positive impact on your life and positive impact on your business, a positive impact on your relationships. So, what is the point in doing it? Now, these are kind of the 9 key points that I think. So you'll have time to connect with yourself, your purpose, and your higher power. So, it's your time. You get to do what you want to do. There's no one bothering you. No kids, no external world. There's nothing bothering you. It's just you, and you get to decide and be yourself. You'll have time for personal development and progress towards your goals. A lot of people don't get the time to do this. This is why I chuck in pretty much the first thing I do is 15 minutes of planning my day out in terms of the various goals I want to achieve that day and everything else, things I need to get off my plate, make sure I'm tracking my energy levels. And then the next hour is personal development. So whether that's something for my business or whether it's something for me as a person, that is what I'm developing. So that never gets missed. So I'm doing this at least 5 to 6 times a week, on a good week 7 times, on a poor week 5 times. So every single week I feel like I'm really moving forward and progressing towards my goals, whatever they might be. Obviously they change month to month, week to week. But you get into a peak state when you do this, which influences everything else that you do that day. Think about how many times have you snoozed your alarm, you've jumped out, you've got in the shower, you're late for work, you ran to work, you're necking coffee to get you alert, you're very sluggish, your day feels just a bit of a drag. So many times, so many people, I see it time and time again, people waking themselves up, trying to get into these states, whereas you can get into a peak state. By the time most people are awake, you've been at it for 2.5, 3 hours. You're in this peak state, and it really influences everything else that you do for the day. You've made progress, which naturally increases your confidence. You feel like you've achieved something. You feel like you've moved forward. You've learned something new, no doubt. You're excited to implement something in your business. So, implement something in your personal life, you've moved forward. That's going to create more confidence, which ultimately helps you feel more motivated and helps you push harder towards your targets. With doing that, it also increases your standards for everything else that you do. Naturally, you start to hold a higher standard for yourself, for your work, and everything else around you, and that increases as well. Number 7, you will sleep better. You do feel tired by the end of the day. You feel like you've had a very successful day and you feel beat and you're like, it's time for bed. But the good thing is when you hit the bed, you're out like a light and you sleep, very, very solid nights of sleep between the hours of, for me, it's 10 and 5 or 10:30 and 5, but I sleep very well, hardly ever wake up. And, as soon as my head hits the pillow, I'm pretty much out. So there's no tossing and turning and struggling to get sleep and, things going through my mind, all that sort of stuff. Now you'll make more money. Now I want to break this out here a bit. So it's easy to just say, oh, you'll make more money, but you will make more money. It's proven that you'll make more money. If you go to bed earlier, wake up earlier, learn more, build confidence, cut out low-level dopamine junk inputs. So between 7 and 10 o'clock at night, you're not, wasting your time scrolling Facebook. You're not, wasting your time on Instagram, TikTok, all that sort of stuff. You're actually, you're not giving yourself those junk inputs. Then that means that when you are actively at it, you're going to get your dopamine hits from somewhere else. And that ultimately means that you're going to make more money, because those hits are coming from the little wins that you're getting in your business, the little wins that you're getting in your personal life, the information that you're taking on board. That's where you're getting your hits from, not the low level stuff, which is just social stuff that doesn't really move yourself forward. And finally, you'll be a new and better person. This is, you'll find a new level and you'll be a new and better person. So I hope that helps. I'd like to challenge you all to do at least 30 days of this on the bounce. I'd like you to put in the comments 30 days accepted if you're going to take this challenge on, and I will check in with you every 30 days to make sure that you have done it. It really will improve everything that you're trying to achieve. So hit in the comments now, 30 day accepted,